Hello and welcome back. That was not my most tuneful intro in the world, but sometimes you got to mix it up. We're back here
Mm.
with we're back here with our favorite songs of 1975. If you haven't checked out the albums video, please do. In an ideal world, that came out a week ago, but you never really know with me. It might have come out 2 or 3 weeks ago. You'll know by the time you're watching this. Um, we've established so far that it is a great year. But let's be honest, all we really care about is that coveted trifecta that we've been waiting since 1967 for it to happen. And I don't think this is going to be the year, but there's a lot of heavy hitters. So who knows? But Chris, please lead the way. Tell us your favorite songs of 1975 and destroy any hopes of a trifecta within the first round of picks. Why don't you?
Immediately, immediately going to destroy it. Let me just talk about a couple that missed the mark. They don't miss the mark. They're great. It's just a tough year, all right? And due to the one artist rule, it's probably good in this case because there's a couple records I could have went crazy on. I'm gonna give a shout out to the titular Coney Island Baby. Smooth song. For the lonely and the alone. The same thing, really. Anyway, doesn't matter. Love it. Love you, Lou. Don't really love that record, but love that song. That's great. Similar feelings about I'm Not in Love by 10cc. Yeah, not sure I love any 10cc record that I've heard. I've heard a few now. I do think the debut is pretty fun. I don't think I gave a shout out to that at all back then, but this song is pretty undeniable. I really like it. I've always liked it. Kind of the uncertainty and denial of power so strong as love. Dreamy, gorgeous, infectious. Love it. Okay, yeah. And shout out to Dr. Wu. I did like this record. I told you I liked it, but I can't get anything in the top. It sucks. Shame I can't talk about it more, but it has some great songs. This is my favorite. Katie lies, but Dr. Wu saves. All right. He was a real doctor, from what I understand. There's a lot of information that looks kind of dodgy on the internet, all right? People don't lie on the internet per se, but they do. Next honorable mention, I'm going The Hissing of Summer Lawns by Joni Mitchell. Whoa, this record was different. And this song in particular is like a dark jazz tune. Whoa. She is singing about darkness. So it's kind of perfect for this time of year. The summer lawns are dead. I mean, well, they're not dead. Anyway, doesn't matter. This record has some moxie like this. I love it. Yeah, my last honorable mention. This one sucks, and I had a hard time picking. But I'm going with Fame by David Bowie. Yeah, it is so funky. And I don't know about Young Americans, but Fame is like top tier to me. It's I love it. I don't care what you think, Tom, frankly. It's I love it when that guitar intro comes in. Oh, it's just love it. Okay. Forget all that. Forget all that. Let's get into it. The real list. Number 10. Number 10. This feels low, but again, don't worry about it. Number 10 is Someone Saved My Life Tonight by Elton John. Holy smokes. I mean, it is perfect. Almost certainly about, being saved from a doomed marriage and thus his own self-inflicted doom. But I love the background vocals on this one in particular, and the emphasis at the end of the chorus that just hangs so right on the butterfly being free to fly. Oh man, it's chills. Gorgeous, gorgeous tune. Number nine, number nine. I'm really sorry for this. I'm really sorry for this. Okay. Look, if anyone I know is watching this, I'm sorry. Number nine is a song by Sparks. called Tits. And, and I know, you gave me months, and this is what I give you. I'm sorry. We're demonetized already. But the piano melody on this song is fantastic. And Russell harmonizing with the guitar on the Drink Harry Drink is so good. It's like peak Sparks. And I think this record did have a number of great tracks. You were surprised to not hear it, and I'm surprised it's not talked about more because I thought it was actually very strong. I don't rate it quite as high as Kimono or Propaganda, but well, the Tits was my favorite. Sue me. So anyway, the song is about a drunk guy who's at the bar miserable because his wife is giving her child the attention of her breasts more than him. That's it. That that's all. That's all it's about. Moving on. Number 8 is Parliament. Give Up the Funk. Um, of course, if this doesn't move you, I have no further words. It makes me really happy. It always has. Very self-explanatory, and you better have that funk. That's all. Number 7. 7. I'm going Strange Magic by ELO. I do have further words about this. Strange Magic does indeed have a strange magic because the lyrics are like there's not really that many lyrics at all. It's mostly strange magic, frankly. But the delivery, there's a little bit of falsetto in there, and over these spacey synths, the reverb and the background, like ha ha ha's. I mean, it really does feel magical. I was sober listening to this again, but it does kind of invoke this sense of magic, and I'm really glad that they it really suits this kind of songwriting suits them. This kind of art pop. I don't know what you call it, but it's strange how much I love Strange Magic. I don't care. That's number 6, or that's number 7. Excuse me, jumping ahead. Number 6 is Neil Young. I'm going with Cortez the Killer. The guitar work on this alone is just phenomenal. It always one of my favorite Neil songs. That wasn't kind of from the core records that I listened to the heck out of. And it still sounds so great to me, so fresh, so awesome. Lyrics are like a little dubious. Like Montezuma wasn't like worthy of praise. He wasn't winning a Nobel Peace Prize, I mean, well, I guess Harry Kissinger won one, so you never know, I guess. But anyway, enough about that. The point of talking about Cortez, the point is it's quite clear what he's talking about, regardless. And anyway, that doesn't matter. Just listen to the guitar on this, and Neil's voice still sounds good. So don't worry about the Montezuma versus Cortez thing. You get lost in Wikipedia for a while on there. Number 5. Yeah, number 5, I'm going with Thunder Road. Thunder Road. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen. Well, again, I don't know all about the boss, but this has always been a jam. I always knew this was a jam, and it's so anthemic. It's Vanessa, you kind of talked about it. It's like it's at times it might be too big. It kind of like starts off just like your little small town life, and then it explodes into this potential that Bruce knew you could reach. And he sounds so convincing, and I don't know, inviting on this proverbial road. I just want to jump in his dirty car, and that's it. That's Thunder Road. Number 4, Led Zeppelin. I know. I'm going 10 Years Gone. This I think maybe won the album, the track elimination thing, which was a good pick, I think. Such a dreamy tune with a killer riff, and it's like the solo on this thing it's really great, but it's kind of understated and not like too bombastic or ostentatious. This song just like it grooves so well, it rocks when it needs to. There's such a charm. It just feels, I don't know. It's just warm. Feels like home. That's it. Okay, top 3. These are all so good. Come on. Number 3, I'm going with Say You Love Me by Fleetwood Mac. I know. I know. It's cool. It's so cool to ignore the big ones, but that's why I'm cool. But to me, this is a big one, so I'm not that cool. This is just incredible vocal performance from McVie, and this might not be the last time I say that about Fleetwood Mac. Um, Instantly recognizable, bouncy piano intro. Always love that. And it's just a slammer of a love song, or at least longing for love. I don't know if she actually is in love or just wants to be, but regardless, I love it. It's Say You Love Me. Number two, I'm going with Love is the Drug. Yeah. Siren didn't really, I like Siren. I think it's a great record actually. But um, yeah, there's a lot of good records here. So I didn't mention it, but what have I said time and time again, Tom? Roxy Music knows how to open a record. And love is the drug. You know it, you love it. Maybe you don't, but that's okay because I know it and I love it. And the chops are in full effect. I love the lyrical swagger here, and I'm sorry to use that word like unironically and outside of the API documentation software, but it really is great. It's very convincing, and just the sultry voice. I can't get enough. He's on the hunt for love like a rabid addict. It's just so believable. There is a cool cover of this song by Grace Jones, which we're still a few years out from talking about Grace Jones, but if we do it all, I don't know. Anyway, pull up to the bumper if you know, you know. But regardless, Love is the Drug, silver medal, Roxy Music. Thank you, Roxy Music. And number one, this is so lame. It's Wish You Were Here. It's the title track to the Pink Floyd record, Wish You Were Here. Is it lame? No, you're lame. You're not lame. I'm just kidding. The lyrics are poetic, and I know it's like I'm 12 and this is deep or whatever, but yes, I did discover it when I was 12 and did think it was deep, but it's still so beautiful. It's like you can just feel the sadness in those guitar strums at the beginning, and one of the first songs I tried to learn on guitar because I wanted to be sad. And did I learn it? No, sort of. Thanks for asking. But this song is just it's perfect. It's so simple, but the sense of longing and pain, and when the keys fall just right, oh man, it's just a gut punch that keeps on giving. And it's a very easy win, actually. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. So it's Wish You Were Here. And you are here. Thanks for being here. That's
It's
all.
so close to getting it right.
So close.
Yeah. So I have a few of the same songs, but in different spots. So I guess we're not quite at our trifecta this time.
Well, if it's just if they make the list, right? Is that or
Oh, I
they?
thought it was exact placement.
No,
Okay.
we haven't had a song make all three of our lists since
Um,
1967.
Wait, not even
So
anywhere in the top 10?
no, not in the top 10.
oh,
No.
see, I thought we were aiming for the exact spot. Oh, okay.
No. I mean, the situations are dire, Vanessa.
Okay.
We have not
Lowered our
shared a song.
expectations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a few matches too, so it's on the cards. It's
Yeah.
on the cards.
All right. So I have a few honorable mentions, not in any particular order, as always. I'm going with the Roxy Music song as well, but I'm going with End of the Line. Warm Ways by Fleetwood Mac is another, and it's not a 3 for me. I got kind of a wild card here, though. I Get So Excited by Ian Hunter. It's such a great song. I feel like everybody needs to hear it. It's just like fun, just so fun. My next honorable mention is Till I Gain Control Again by Emmylou Harris. And my last one is Everyone's Gone to the Movies by Steely Dan, which I like Katie Lied a lot. It didn't quite make my list, but it is pretty close. So, all right. My list proper starts with The Carpenters and Solitaire. It's probably my favorite song by them. It's got a great build from the subtle, quiet verses to the louder sweep of the chorus. Something about the chorus just always feels so satisfying melodically for me, as well as Karen's vocals are impeccable as always. But I was reading a bit about it today, and I learned that she actually did not like this song at all. So that kind of makes me a little sad, but she nails it. Number 9 is I'm Not in Love by 10cc. The first 10cc song I ever heard, and not really the most indicative of their sound at the time overall. I've learned more about the diversity of their music the last couple years, which has been great, but I still love this song. The hazy, mysterious atmosphere is so great. I love the way that it wraps you up and brings you into the song in a way. It's very alluring, despite the lyrics are a little, they're not alluring, but the song is, so it's a great one. Now I got some placements of like songs that you would think are going to be higher. They're kind of low here, so just gonna warn you now. Number 8 is Acadian Driftwood by the band. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy year, crazy year. So many great songs on this album, but I've always really connected with this one. Maybe it's because I have Acadian heritage and know very well about the loose history behind the events of the song. They take some liberties. I don't know, but I've always really connected with this one. Every time I listen to it, I'm on that journey with them, and 6 minutes flies by in a flash. I also really love how the fiddle enhances the song, giving it a subtle Acadian feel, and how Richard, Levon, and Rick all trade off lead vocals to harmonize on the chorus. It's just so great. And number 7 is going to be probably a bit of a surprise. It's Just a Normal Day by Supertramp. This song was a new discovery for me the last couple months. I have absolutely fallen in love with it. I love the gorgeous melancholy of the melody and the build with the synthesized strings. I think that's what they are when they come in. But I really think the biggest highlight is how Rick Davies and Roger Hodgson trade off lead vocals almost like conversationally throughout the song. It just weaves so perfectly. And it's also very autumnal sounding. Like it feels perfect for this time of year. I've listened to it on a couple walks and it's just like, just enhances the experience. So love it. Even if that album is good, but not my favorite. Number 6 is Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Obviously I love this song, and its placement here seems rather low, but it's a very strong year for songs. I hear it a lot, and while I wouldn't say I'm tired of it, I just may not choose to play it as much these days. Like, I don't know. So that's kind of why it fell here. Still, it's an all-time classic song for a reason. It stands out as different on the album, but also manages to stand alone apart from it while also being an integral part of it. So that's pretty hard to do. It's difficult to hear and not think of the backstory behind the album's inspiration and feel the emotion behind it every time. Like, it's a very affecting song. So let's Wish You Were Here. Number 5 is my Bruce Springsteen song. I'm going with Born to Run. Yes, Thunder Road is great, but I love Born to Run just a little bit more, and I always have. It's probably one of the most triumphant songs I can think of. Every time I hear it, I always feel like it can take over the world. It feels like the opening credits to a movie or like your life or your week. I don't know. It's just such a vibe. His vision really comes together on this song, and no matter how many times I hear it, I never get tired of it. Number 4 is my Zeppelin pick, going with Down by the Seaside. A different sound for Zeppelin, and it seems to be a more divisive song than I ever realized, but I've always loved it. I love when they switch things up. I love how it changes tempos and has different sections throughout. It's such a pretty melody, and I think the guitar sound on it is really cool, especially the more shimmery tone in the main sections. Number 3 is my Bob Dylan pick. So I'm going with Tangled Up in Blue, which every time I look at the individual songs on this album, I come up with a different favorite. When we did the ranking of the songs a little while back, this was my number 6. So you just never know what's going to come out as number 1. But this is where I'm leaning now. This song really paints a picture in the lyrics, of course, and I always get wrapped up in it. But what I really like is the way the music builds between the verses, and it sort of pushes and pulls every time he sings Tangled Up in Blue. I was trying to come up with a good way to explain it, but I mean, if you've heard this song, you know what I mean. Like, it kind of functions as a chorus without really being a chorus. It's just really cool the way it's structured. So that's the one that I went with this time. My number 2 is Strange Magic by ELO. I first got into this song as a teenager because of the movie The Virgin Suicides, which is also where I first heard the 10cc song. Song was super influential for 70s pop songs for me. There's just songs I didn't grow up with because my parents weren't into them, so they really, it was kind of a revelation. And I just love everything up to this about this song. It's like it lives up to its name. Like Chris said, it's got a strange magic. Like, it pulls me into its spell every time I hear it, right from those opening strings, and then it flows effortlessly into the gorgeous guitar and the spellbinding melody. Like, and it only grows on me more every time I hear it. So yeah, it's number 2. And number 1 is Someone Saved My Life Tonight by Elton John. One of my favorite Elton John songs on an already very strong album. Bitter Fingers is always knocking right on the door of being a favorite, but ultimately this has got to be my pick. Everything about his performance here perfectly captures the gravity of the situation he's singing about, and you can feel how personal this song is, even if he didn't write the lyrics. Like, it's his story, and that really comes across. And like many of my favorites of this year, it draws me in the entire runtime every time I hear it, and I feel every word he's singing. And this was a super tough song list to make, but this at the top feels right. So
Very
Very cool.
nice.
Tom, you got
Um,
a couple chances here.
so yeah, I shared 3 with Chris and only 1 with Vanessa. So
Okay.
we'll see
Okay.
if that 1 is one of the 3 that I shared with Chris or not. So, honorable mentions. I've got some. Do I have curveballs? Not really. This one's a curveball though. Soundtrack by Bebop Deluxe, a band I don't like that much. But this track is incredible, and it feels like everything they were trying to do throughout their entire career put into one song. Ridiculous guitar throughout the song. It is like mind melting. So cool. And it's got a really catchy melody, and yeah, it's just cool. It gets stuck in my head, and it almost didn't make my honorable mentions. And I had Bad Sneakers by Steely Dan and Coney Island Baby as well, but those 2 were just edged out by soundtrack. So I've also got Love is the Drug by Roxy Music, which is my favorite Roxy Music song. That bass line is just filthy. It's absolutely filthy. This one feels really hard to put solo out. And I think this album, it was more a case that there was just so much to choose from that whatever I landed on wasn't going to compete with all these other songs. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't sure what to pick. And I landed on Break It Up by Patti Smith. Again, that squealing guitar from Tom Verlaine, and one of the most sort of anthemic, catchy songs on the album. Quite accessible, really. Like, it's not as sort of punky as people would let you believe. I've also got Magneto and Titanium Man by Paul McCartney and Wings, which is just like such a lovely little silly upbeat song. I've always loved it. I do like Venus and Mars quite a bit, but this song has always sort of like stood above the rest, like comfortably for me. It's just so, I love the melody, and it's so silly and fun. That's all I have to say about it. It's just fun. And this one really, really hurts. My last honorable mention is So in Love by Curtis Mayfield. Sorry, Curtis, but you're not making the list. Another great album from him this year. Love the slow, like seductive rhythm, and the sound is great, and his voice is just, oh my God. I love his more funky stuff, but on the slow ballads, he just sounds utterly incredible every time. So yeah, So in Love. I mean, honestly, this might be my favorite songs list ever of any of these. I think it is. Because God, what absolutely stacked year. Number 10, it's had a mention, but not been on anyone's list. Bit of Fingers by Elton John. From first listen, I knew this was an absolute win. That chorus is one of his very best. It's like so absurdly catchy. It's like one of the most sort of penetrative earworms I've ever heard. And then my favorite part of the entire song is when the guitar comes in towards the end and then just like ascends during the chorus. And it's like harmonizing with the vocals, and it's so cool. But then after the 2 times of harmonizing the vocals, it just keeps going up and up and up. Oh, it's so cool. If you've heard the song, you know the bit I mean. The first time I heard that, I was like, whoa, that is so awesome. So yeah, Bit of Fingers is my number 10. One of my favorite Elton tunes, and definitely my favorite Elton deep cut. Number 9, Supertramp. Not just a normal day, but I do think that song is great. I've gone with A Soapbox Opera. I've sort of mentioned a lot that my dad has introduced me to a lot of music, especially Supertramp and ELO and those kind of bands. And yeah, this was one of the first ones, and it's one of those that means too much to me to not make the list. It's still among my top 5 favorite Supertramp songs. Hodgson's vocals on this are absolutely incredible. I think the lyrics are really strong, commenting on sort of like organized religion and stuff like that. I love the bit where he just goes to like scream, Reverend Ebenezer, there's a storm in my head. Oh my God, it's so cool. And yeah, it's great. It's got a great feel. It's really emotional. Always loved it. My number 8 is Blue, Red, and Grey by The Who. Incredible song, unlike anything else The Who ever did. Sort of briefly mentioned it. Townsend's on his own here with the ukulele and a little sort of light brass section. It sort of epitomizes what I love about By Numbers. It's more of a singer-songwriter album, and Townsend's vocals are immense. And the lyrics are really simple, but they hit hard because of that simplicity. So unique, and in most years would be in the top 5, but this is a really stacked field. If I could, like, let's just say the rest of my picks are going to be very, very obvious. So listen to Blue, Red, and Grey, and you won't regret it. My number 7 is the band with It Makes No Difference, a much newer discovery than any of these others above it. So I think it's pretty cool. It's made it as high as it has. Rick Danko's vocal is so heartbreaking, and it might just be the best set of lyrics Robbie Robertson ever put forward. It's just classic stuff, and maybe even better in The Last Waltz. That chorus with those harmonies is just heaven. And I particularly love the opening lines. It makes no difference where I turn. I can't get over you and the flame still burns. It makes no difference night or day. The shadow never seems to fade away. Like, Jesus Christ. It's really, really good. There's like some really cool unconventional structures to it as well. You got like this really odd like post chorus that comes in. I love the bit especially where he like rhymes cattle and then rattle halfway through the next line. It's like so weird, but it like gives it this like momentum while he's singing it, which is really unique and cool. Just a perfect song in my opinion, and maybe with time could get higher up the list. Number 6, Fleetwood Mac. You can keep your deep cuts. Landslide, okay? Like sometimes the right pick is the obvious one, okay? And this was another easy slam dunk. Who doesn't love this song? Like it seems pretty impossible to like not like it, at least. Stevie Nicks' vocals and lyrics are never better than Here for My Money. And then obviously that iconic Lindsey Buckingham sort of fingerpick guitar part, which was the first attempt I ever had at fingerpicking and took me a while to learn it. And I've since kind of forgotten it. It's just greatness. And that guitar solo is so understated and beautiful and demonstrates why Lindsey Buckingham, I think, is one of the greatest guitarists of all time. You can stamp that. Number 5, this is one of my matches with Chris. Is this the first one? I think it is. Cortez the Killer by Neil Young at number 5. Could have been Don't Cry No Tears, could have been Through My Sails, but I had to go with this one because it's another song that basically needs no introduction. It's not famous to the level of like Heart of Gold or Old Man, but like I feel like everybody who's into Neil loves this song, you know? It's just one of those. It's Yeah, definitely in my top 20 at least, probably top 10 Neil songs is a guitar tour de force. And I actually really think the lyrics are quite interesting and sort of mysterious. But obviously, I've not done as much research into it as Chris has, so I'm gonna cede authority to him on that one. The lyrics suck, so don't pay attention to them. But yeah, Cortez the Killer, great song. Yeah, love it. Number 5 is David Bowie. Not mentioned him yet. Chris did. I'm going with Young Americans. It's only grown in my it's only grown in my estimations over time. It's probably honestly a top 10 Bowie song for me. It just makes me happy. And sometimes that's all you need. The sax is infectious and the entire arrangement is just dynamite. Bowie's vocal is superb and those backing singers are great. It's just fun, you know. You just move around to it a bit. Bronze medal. Still no trifecta yet. Will it come? Will it come? Bob Dylan with You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go, which, unlike Vanessa, I always know this is my favorite on the album. But to be fair, 2 through 9, that order pretty much changes on every listen. So, but yeah, this song is amazing. It's like a top 5 Bob Dylan song for me. It's one of his most heartbreaking songs, even on this album, which is so emotionally raw. I think it stands out lyrically. Um, yeah, the opening line, I've seen love go by my door. It's never been this close before. And it's like, okay, I'm in for it now. And then yeah, how I've talked about the song too much already on this channel, frankly, but you know, the whole like situations have ended sad, relationships have all been bad. Mine have been like Verlaine's and Rambo's. It's like he just can't help himself and just reference like 18th century poets and shit. Like even when he gives you a sliver of like honest emotion, then he's like, oh god, I've messed it up. Needs to go back. Has a really memorable melody as well. And again, like I mentioned, a lot of the songs on this album just creep up on you, and this one definitely did for me. And yeah, love it. Silver. Let's just say, like, can I just take a moment? 1965, we had I've Been Loving You Too Long by Otis Redding and In My Life by the Beatles. 1966, God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. 1967, White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Nothing, 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 nothing. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. We did it. Finally, finally, we did it. Like my number 1, a song that's been one of my all-time favorites since I was a teenager. So this was really a toss-up, but it's landed at number 2. Comfortably my favorite Pink Floyd song. One of the first songs I learned on guitar, like Chris, and definitely the first guitar solo I learned on guitar. Well, I guess it's not a solo. It's like is it a solo? I guess it is. The sort of the intro bit. You know what I mean? Just about as perfect as music gets, stripped back and simple, but the instrumental parts sound like they've been slaved over in a good way. It's like every little note just oozes emotion. And yeah, every single line is beautiful poetry. I think all of Pink Floyd's lyrics are a bit I'm 12 and this is deep, but I think this one, because of its like true emotional core, like it absolutely sells it. And yeah, it's one of those songs, like one of those very few songs where 90% of people could tell you every line in the song, which is like says a lot on its own. And then my number 1 is Bruce Springsteen with Thunder Road. Number 1 had to be Bruce. I never really questioned if it was Thunder Road until like 6 months ago, and then Born to Run was like, hello, I also exist. And I'm sticking to my guns with Thunder Road for now. But Born to Run is right there. You know, it's hard to beat that opening harmonica, and Roy Bittan, God, what an absolute beast on keys throughout this album, just and on Springsteen's other albums as well. But I think this one in particular, he's just all over the place in a great way. And then yeah, the sax outro as well is just so cathartic. And that like outro of this song was probably the highlight of me seeing Bruce and the E Street Band. It's just like, oh my God, like so cool. And then yeah, if any song could be adapted into a movie, if you could only pick one, it's probably this one. to turn an entire song into a movie. So, you know, it's cinematic in scope, it's epic, it's kind of over the top, but not in like a flamboyant way, and quite a gritty way, which I like. And it's my song of the year for 1975. We did it.
All right, we did it. We did it.
Thank you very much for watching. Please let us know your favorite songs of 1975. We will be down in the comments to read all your different choices. Let us know what you think the biggest snubs were. Yeah, so again, I feel like we say this all the time, but 3 big heavy hitters winning the Song of the Year titles. We got Someone Save My Life Tonight, Wish You Were Here, and Thunder Road. So choose your fighter, I guess. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you very soon for 1976.